I mean, if it's not legally enforceable, I don't know.
Again, I hate to sit here and say, I don't want to put up a watch children sign because that sounds counteractive to what we do. I don't know if it's like.
More study on it? Well, put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay?
Alan, can you just
Yeah.
respond with a letter back to the resident encouraging them to talk to the residents in the cul-de-sac to solve the problem? It saves everyone money for putting a sign, money for maintaining sign, money taken away from your road crew doing other work, time away from your police officer who's probably gonna get a response there to deal with the situation and explain that it's not really important. Let the neighbors work it out.
Thank you. Okay, next order of business, Blue Ridge franchise agreement extension, renegotiation discussion. We got a letter from, we have a contract with Blue Ridge Cable. That needs to be renewed.
So they are asking to go out for another 7 years. The original contract was reviewed by your solicitor, and obviously approved at that time, so this has changed it, so if you want to make for that.
I don't think there are. I think we just review that.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you think that's too long? Their rates are going up constantly. Is there any kind of mechanism there to restrict them on how much they're charging?
No, we can't.
And we don't have a competitor in the area. Now, from what I understand, Comcast isn't, Comcast is now moving in effort, isn't that correct? For the first time. Effort analytics, okay. So,
We pay more for our cable and internet and that ridiculous home phone that we get nothing but fraud calls on all day long.
I
We
agree.
pay more for that than we do for our gas, electric, and water and sewer.
Right.
Well, it doesn't expire to March of 2020, for a while, and we get the plus years. See if Comcast comes in.
7 years is too long. Their rates are ridiculous.
you know, I
What
just,
do you suggest then, 5?
3.
I-
Why make it so long? That's
You
guaranteed
don't-
that
you
a
don't-
rate increase every year.
we don't have a competitor for,
That may be, but why make it for 7 years? That's giving them carte blanche to raise the rates for 7 years. Why are you making it so long?
they'll raise them anyway because they know they have no competitor.
Well, maybe in 3 years they will. Maybe people won't need cable anymore in 3 years.
Or they might not.
Don't make it 7 years, it's too long.
So make it for 24 months, make it for 2 years. See, then maybe after that, you got a valid point, maybe
There's other ways to,
Comcast moves in.
how many people even have it anymore? They look at everything on the internet.
Well,
It's so much to
Okay.
read.
well, we need the cable for the high-speed data links for
Well,
computers
there's other
and
companies that do that.
We'll discuss this with Mr. Miller and get back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Adamstown shooting range.
So, let me give an update here. So I had the pleasure of meeting one of the neighbors there that's adjacent to where the proposed shooting range is going to go in. And we've had a lot of conversations. I had a number of phone calls from a number of other residents. Thank you for calling me and expressing your opinions, because that's exactly what we need to hear, okay? Let me tell you what we know so far, and then feel free to ask questions of any of us, and then I think I have, and I'd like to make a proposal to the board. But here's what we know so far. We have not been notified by Adamstown or given any kind of courtesy correspondence from Adamstown over this, or from the Effort Police Department. The only thing we know right now is that they have that document on their webpage, that's on their homepage, that states on the news that they're looking at a proposed shooting range right back there. As I was speaking with one of our residents and went there and walked the actual area, those photos, Doug and Alan and the chief, here, let me give you these. Well, you have a copy. I sent you the PDF, yeah. So what I'm trying to do there is show where the horses are in the pasture there. If you actually, it's tough to see, but if I point it out to you, you can actually see from where the horses are across this street. And you can actually look through the tree line and actually see where it's going to go in, where it's proposed. So, and that's now in the middle of the summertime when it's completely covered in foliage. Okay? So forgive me, I'm not a horse person, I'm not a farmer. But I can imagine shots being fired would spook the horse, and I've heard that from everyone I've spoken to who's very familiar with horses. So that's all we know right now. Officer Kenneth Lockhart, the detective, Officer Lockhart did go knock on the doors of the residents, correct? Was it just one or two? I don't remember now.
People who had borderline property
For-
in that area.
Okay, so he did make
So
it.
he did not talk to all the residents.
Okay, just a handful, just a couple of them. Okay, that's what I thought. I want to make sure I was correct. So he did stop in and talk to a couple of them and describe what they were going to do. And I have some notes here from one of the residents. You have them there, that there were some things that he said that were just not consistent with what was in the document that they presented from Ephrata Police Department. So here's what I'd like to propose. First thing is, again, thank you to the residents for doing the homework on this, because that's exactly what we need to help us. What I'd like to propose to the board is we should send a letter over to Adamstown and to the Ephrata Police Department, just to notify them that we formally heard from our residents. They're concerned about this. And we would like to see a formal proposal from them over what they plan on doing, so that we can ask questions. Because there's a lot of valid questions from a bunch of the residents that have asked.
Do you have the drawings?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do you have the drawings?
I do, I have them here.
And
Yeah.
And you have the pictures also?
I have the pictures, yeah. And everyone here has a copy. I emailed it to them, so they have an electronic copy and a paper copy. Have you seen them?
Yes.
Okay. So I have
I'm
everything
not too
here.
sure where they're at. And I have great knowledge of it. I mean, they threw nothing out, there's nothing definite there at all.
Right, so, right, I don't know what phase they are in their plan. That's the other
They
question.
made
I
a
have.
statement, I think there was one person close to it. Well, you're shooting at 308. There's more than one person close to it. I really did like it. I mean, I am a hunter. I know what a 308 goes, so I carry one most of the time. I don't know where, and this is going to be pointing right at the back end of Moat Hill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of questions that I have, such as, I'm concerned about ricochets. They're talking about doing some kind of training where they have vehicles involved. What happens if there's a ricochet?
There's five gun clubs right around this area. How many more do you really need? I mean, and some of them, you can shoot long. New Holland, you can shoot 600 yards there. Beartown. You've got the Adamstown Fire Company, the Cocalico, the Rod and Gun Club. Or Freetown Road. And what they say on that paper, that they're going to shoot 22,000 to 30,000 shots a year. And then they say at the very back of that, if you read that, it stated that there is an issue, there could be a possibility that outside companies police departments can come in and shoot.
But not just the Cocalico.
And everything from probably from here to the other end of Adamstown to here. I mean, I live in, I'm sorry, I didn't do this right, I'm sorry, I live in 3 Michael Lane. Don't get me wrong, Rod and Gun Club, I have no problem with those people. They've been really, to me, they've been good neighbors. But that's just a little peck, I mean, that's a shotgun that shoots 40, 50 feet.
And if I remember correctly in the literature and speaking with some of the residents, they were also talking about shooting at night.
Night, and they're also, they're talking about 223s and 308s and handguns, 45s, 9mm.
Chief, can I ask you, where do your officers shoot or train?
You can go to Cushion Peak.
Pushing?
That's the one over by Fredstadt.
It's about 5 minutes basically from the edge of our border. It's, for us, it meets all our needs. They are gracious to us and the facility is amazing. When I covered the West in Adamstown previously, we initially shot at the Sportsman's Club on Sportsman Road. And I guess I'm dating myself a little bit. Patrol rifles came into play. And the facilities there, in certain regards, didn't allow it. So we moved to the other gun club on Forest Road, Northern Lancaster Sportsman Association, I think that's what it is. Again, top-notch facility, up on top of the mountain. We never heard any complaints. None were expressed to us when we were out there, whether we were shooting our handguns, shotguns, patrol rifles. Again, we've been lucky enough to be invited by Cushion Peak, and in fact, our armor was there today sighting a few rifles. So that's what we did. And if I could just say, the first I learned of this as the chief of East Cocalico was when I read the article in the Effort Review. So I was reading it probably as many as you were, and I was not approached at any point before that in regards to shooting there or using the facility. I did have a discussion at a chiefs of police meeting, and it was very brief. I was told that the residents were spoken to. That's the extent of my interaction with this. This is nothing that I was involved in whatsoever.
Yes.
Yes, I happen to be one of the residents,
Your name, please?
Connie Dunn. We are not a bordering property resident, however, and those were the only residents who were approached by the officer. Now, the one person who I feel would be impacted the most was the person you were speaking about with the horses.
Yes.
We, however, don't have property bordering, but we are 350 yards from that area. So I feel it impacts us a little bit.
They want to shoot all this lead into the ground right now, this town gets its water supply. Makes a lot of sense.
Right next to it.
Right on top of it,
Yeah, above it.
right on top of it.
Well, what bothers me about this part is the supposed discrepancies. As I read this letter from the Effort Police Department signed by Detective Lockhart, what he said and what was really said to the residents, and that bothered me.
I'm not said resident.
That's fine, that's fine, I didn't want.
Yes.
Thanks,
and-
Denise.
And, yeah, IRC. I was made aware of it by that officer when he came to my door on a Tuesday afternoon. I was completely unaware, I don't get the effort review. Apparently, that effort review went out prior to him coming to tell the two, there's ourselves and then there's another neighbors that are straight up the lane. And apparently he's spoken to another neighbor, he told me prior to that. But to correct what has been said, we were not notified. He did not speak to us prior to that article and after review. I would have had no knowledge, none whatsoever, that this was even going on. And that's the pictures that our people, that's our property. You know, I'm not just concerned about the fact that I do have horses, and it's right there. But I'm concerned about the lead. My son is an officer. He is an officer in the state of Virginia. I have all due respect for officers, and I understand they need their training. I totally get it. However, there is a proper place to have something like that. My son practices with his horse in a quarry where nobody's there. And they don't disturb anybody. They're not, you know, causing any environmental issues. The other thing that has been mentioned in that letter that was on the Adamstown Borough site was they're going to have announcements made prior to the shooting. Where do we live? We moved here for peace and quiet. They're going to sirens are going to go off. And besides that, Africa is, what, about 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away? Why come to Adamstown to build a facility? I mean, there's all these questions. Why are they doing this? Why are they broaching doing this? I mean, there's so many things involved here. That's why I'm glad that I knew about it. I'm glad RC gave me a call, and we were able to talk because residents here are not. I think there's probably a lot here that are here because of this.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. It's my property. Oh, the other thing is real estate values.
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah, you
you
did.
got paper.
Yeah, that's in our
It
packet.
shows that real estate values will go down.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna wanna buy my property, it's a horse property, with a shooting range right there.
Yeah, and I think the report, just so everyone knows, in full disclosure, the report you gave me said shooting ranges had tended to drop the property values an average of 3.7%.
The chief just made me aware, I'm not familiar with it, but, I mean, I know what Horseshoe Trail is.
It's
Very, very close.
Yes.
And, you know, if someone is up there riding, when somebody goes up there and decides, you can blow all the sirens you want, but if the guy's a half a mile away and doesn't hear the siren, rides a horse up through there, and they start letting loose with 20 or 30, whatever. Yeah. There's just a lot of,
There was a lot of discrepancies between what the officer told me at the time and what I read in that letter. I mean, a whole lot.
One of the things that I recall that was stated was, it was always saying 400 Adamstown Road. Well, we're 121. 400 is
400 is
much
not
further.
closer to Adamstown.
And that's posted on, that's posted on that paper.
Yes, that's in the paper, 400.
400 is
400
So
to
there's
401.
too many things, shady type of things said that it's like, we're not really giving you the whole truth, we just want to make things.
So, again, thank you, and then now, again, what I'd like to do, if it's okay with the board, is send some correspondence over to them, and ask them to give us some details behind this, so we can get some more information.
My name's Cynthia Brooks. Do you have any, does this township have any legal rights, any standing on something like this, if they would push it through? I mean, other than verbally objecting, is there any legal rights that another township has to object to something that goes on?
Sorry.
My question is, this
Can-
property
state your
is in
name,
Adamstown.
please. State
Susie,
your name.
Susie,
Susie,
Matt.
last name?
It's in Adamstown, correct?
Yes. Adamstown Borough.
Okay, is it zoned for this use?
No.
Okay, well then it's gonna have to go through a zoning hearing. That's when you people show up. You're the people who have the power.
Yeah, it's right on that, with the proposal. There's a little
That's right.
addendum at the back that they would have to change that ordinance, which, and I don't understand the whole part that Adamstown would really approve this, other than if there's money involved, that they're going to get compensation for the police
There's no
officers using that
compensation. They
property.
said there's no compensation. I was at the meeting last night.
Oh, so they discussed it last night?
Tuesday.
Oh, okay, I was told it was going to be this month.
Yeah, this was-
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that Adamstown will look at it and worry about the most important part in my mind, and that's the groundwater, it's the lead. I mean, that could affect so many people.
Can I ask a question, maybe you can help here? Is there, if you remove a section of ground, which is, I figured out is somewhere over, I think, 30,000 square feet, must you have permission for land, water usage control? Sorry, I had to ask you.
Well, it's clear with this issue. Any earth disturbance activity over 5,000 square feet would have to have an erosion and sedimentation control plan. Any larger than that would obviously still be required to have that plan, depending on other potential environmental aspects and so forth. There could be stormwater requirements, depending if you're converting wooded areas to other ground cover conditions. So some of those are state regulated, some of those are implemented state regs through local ordinances.
Yeah, and when I saw the site with our resident, most of that's covered with trees. So they would have to remove all those trees.
And therefore more erosion.
Yes, they think seeding grass is going to keep water runoff from
Not
happening.
on the mountain.
We live in the woods, we cut trees down trying just to have a front lawn. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, there must be some sort of real special foliage that you can plant or ground cover that will keep that from happening, especially on, a sloping area.
I'd just like to talk to this gentleman right here. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I'm going to beat on this a little bit. Did you say 5,000 square feet, they have to have a plan?
Right. State regulations indicate that any earth disturbance over 5,000 square feet has to have a written erosion and sedimentation control plan. And then anything beyond that, there could be thresholds for more formal review of those plans or action by the Lake County Conservation District, DEP, could go on from there. You can contact Adamstown Borough and let them explain their regulations and those involved in interpreting those and the County Conservation District also.
But as Frank said, that 5,000, that's a Commonwealth regulation. That's not East Cocalico's or Lancaster counties or.
That's state.
I mean, what they showed there on that piece of paper doesn't include parking either, so.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
It's just the range.
Yeah, I actually wrote a note down when I looked through the documents.
Or the driveway going to it or whatever.
They're going to have to upgrade the driveway, they're going to have to put driveways.
Right, they're only showing in the diagram, the
That's all
street,
part
it's
of it.
not supporting structures. Okay.
Isn't there a mention there too of them can store things there?
There is.
That should be a big concern. And the number one question to me is, why don't they put this in Everett? If it's their police department, Everett can find room someplace, I'm sure, in the borough or the township, why don't they do that?
Good
It's
question.
a question nobody wants to ask, but it should be asked. Especially the people in Adamstown should be asking that. Are they gonna have that police department forever? And then what if they don't have the Everett police anymore? They can be stuck with it, and the people that live right there can be stuck with it?
Good questions.
Okay, so we'll take that action.
Take that action. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Resurfacing the Reamstown pool bar tennis court. We have three bids to do that. What facilitated this was there's an outfit that does plastic coating, the plastic floating surfaces. We saw at PSATs, and she has a court that was used for a demonstration that was about a half a year old, and the bid is $13,600 with a 14.5-year guarantee on it to replace the tennis court, which is badly in bad shape right now. We got two other bids. One was for $22,900, and the other bid was for, I think, 41 something.
41,371.
41,371. Yeah, I'm trying to read it too. What the gentleman will do is, if there's cracks, they'll seal the cracks, level the surface, and then install this plastic tennis court, which also has pickleball lining. And people requested pickleball in our court, but without normally that cost would be around $40,000 to do this job. But since he has his court that was used for demonstration, that was only used for half a year, we can get it for the price. No, but we have money.
Yeah, that was the money from the parking lot.
Yeah.
That has to get done, so.
Yeah. And it's a heck of a good deal.
And this is, right, and this is the company that specializes in the courts.
Yeah.
In courts research.
Yeah. On top of court.
Is this Reamstown Park or Reamstown Pool?
Reamstown Pool Park. The pool, it's a park outside the pool area.
It's township property.
Yeah.
I can't get them to repaint the crosswalks in our neighborhood, but yet we're gonna spend all this money on something that even know existed.
Well, people use this and requested this many times, but the price was $40,000 to redo it, and that's why we didn't do it. Motion? Yep.
I think the motion to go ahead with.
And I'll second that motion, I'd like to add a motion to go with Champion Sport, with Sport Ford.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Yes?
Is that just resurfacing, or is that resurfacing and painting the courts back on again?
This is the
Whole new surface.
whole new is repairing the cracks and putting a whole new surface with the lines and everything.
It'll be for basketball and or pickleball.
No, tennis. Tennis and pickleball.
How many colors?
Yes.
How many colors?
I think it's 4, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
I think.
I think it is 4. Brian, I think it is 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you ask that question?
Because I was just doing ours today, Sealmaster, I don't know if any of these prices are from Sealmaster, but we done it ourselves and saved a lot of money.
Well,
But did you ran asphalt, right?
We were on asphalt, that's correct.
Yeah, that's the difference.
That's the difference.
Yeah, this is,
What's this surface?
It's like a composite, like a
Composite.
plastic composite.
yeah,
It's the thing they lay down over, yes.
Well, that has a pretty big crack down the middle of it, doesn't it?
yeah, they're gonna repair the crack and then put this on top.
What are they gonna fill the cracks with?
No, this guy does it for a living.
Yeah.
So he's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed 14 and a half years. Okay, so when you retire, you can play pickleball there.
Me and Harvey are gonna be there.
Get the ambulance out. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Reassignment of previous manager task discussion. We want to take this under advisement to our next meeting. the manager's report. I'd like to introduce our new manager, transition Penny, well, interim manager Penny.
Okay, the first item we have on my agenda is for the solicitor is went out for appraisal for lot lots 26 and 27. And the motion would be to proceed with petitioning the court for the related sale of these existing lot lots in the Carriage Hill property.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the appraisals to come in right now.
So it's just for the sale.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
okay. I'll second it. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, why are they selling the top lots in Carriage Hill?
The residents next to it didn't want anything in there. So
And was that the donation,
We've been
of the
mowing it for
developer?
years.
was that the donation from the
Yes.
developer
Yeah,
to
and
the,
so we'll sell them and that money will go in the rec fund, okay? Yeah, they petitioned the neighbors or took a survey and they didn't want anything. So we've been mowing it for the last bunch of years, so. Any other questions? Okay, I think all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carried, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a proposal from CMI to install the preemption on the
If you talk about places, sorry.
soft voice, sorry. Next item on the agenda is for CM High sent us a proposal to install the traffic signal preemption at the Reading Road SR 272 and Church Street. So I would need authorization from the board to let them go ahead and do that work. Brent, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't.
This has been ongoing, so I'll make the motion. Yeah, the
Yeah,
equipment,
they have.
we've had the equipment for the last, what, year?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to get PennDOT approval, so.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
think-
I'm sorry. go ahead.
I made a motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. This is preemption for the fire company. You guys know what that's for. It should have been done years ago.
The last item I have on the agenda is for a motion be needed to rescind Keystone Insurance as the producer of record and designate Sean Hughes as the broker of record at BSI Corporation, and what that will allow Sean to do will be to act on our behalf to go out and receive quotes for life and disability insurance. Does anybody need a motion to
I
that
would make
effect?
that motion.
And I will second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next item we have on the agenda is the township air conditioner, but that issue has been resolved,
Thank you all.
thankfully, a lot cheaper than what the proposal was, so
Yeah.
good job, gentlemen. The last item I have on the agenda is, I did receive via email about a class that is going to be held by the Lancaster County District Attorney's Office and PA South Central Task Force. I believe this is open to the public. And it's September 19th, 6 to 8 o'clock, and it is training on armed assailants and businesses. So anyone that would like to attend that, it's Thursday, September 19th in Manheim. And once again, it's a response to armed assailants for businesses. They are doing a training for that, so we just want to make the public aware of that.
Should we put that on our website?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Let's put that on our website. Because that's open to anyone from the public, open to anyone, business owners, churches, anything at all.
Yeah, actually, the church one is going to be on September 24th. They're going to have two, they're going to have one for business.
So that's a separate one. Thank you.
Yes. Comment, Ralph?
Ralph Buckles. The Hershey, the South Central Task Force did an excellent program up at Hershey. was an 8-hour course back in the spring. If you haven't attended it, or if you've not been sent by either your business or your churches, please consider sitting through that course.
Thank you. Public comment, non-agenda items. Anybody?
Yes,
Ralph?
may I approach?
Yes.
Thank you, supervisors and chief and ma'am, for your service. Very appreciative for what you all do. Many of the proposals that you brought forward, like one tonight, was a cost savings. The MS4 projects are dealing with grades, steep grades, it's safety to our roadmaster, and it's also economics. It's doing the right thing, so thank you. By the way, has Mr. Jeffrey Mitchell happened to have turned in a resignation for his time on the zoning board?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I'm aware of
Had not been received a letter.
Okay, well, I was just wondering if his training, his ethics training needed to be refunded or something, because that might be in question there with a conflict of interest and his run for township supervisor, so, you know, would put that on the record. And by the way, I would like to challenge him to a debate. So if anybody sees Jeffrey, maybe we can get the effort of review to moderate a debate. Haven't had one here for 30 years. It's time for another one. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Any other comments from the public? We are going to, we're going to recess for executive session for personnel problems. There'll be no decisions made, and then we'll come back and adjourn.